Hey everybody, it's time for another channel update, and today's game, if you can't read Japanese, it's Splatterhouse Wanpaku Graffiti. You might be familiar with the Splatterhouse series, side-scrolling arcadey-style beat-em-ups with a horror aesthetic, blood and guts and all that. This is a Famicom spin-off of the series that's a bit more cutesy, a bit more silly, as you will see here, where our villain is a giant jack-o'-lantern. So there's that. Now, old games, they are prone to having a lot of flashing, and this one has its fair share. So be warned, I've tried to edit out parts that I could, other parts I just really couldn't, so I do put up warnings, and I will try to call them out as we approach the more egregious examples. But yeah, we do have our side-scrolling and killing of monsters. It's just a bit more simple and has a little bit more platforming going on, and there's a slight RPG element to it, in that we kill monsters and the number in the top left goes up, and when we hit our quota, we level up and get a larger health bar. As time goes on, we'll need to kill more monsters, but that's pretty much it. So, let's talk about things. Starting with the most recent, which you might have been able to guess by listening to my voice. I'm sick. Your boy, his luck ran out and finally got the COVID. And not just me, but my parents as well. So, we've been doing really good, have not gotten sick this whole time, we've been dodging the bullets, doing everything right, and our luck just ran out, or we let our guard down just a bit too much or something, and we all got sick. For the most part, we're doing okay. Right now, I'm actually going through the COVID rebound, where you start feeling better for a few days, and then you get sick again. It doesn't mean, well, not sick again, but sick still, and just the symptoms come back. And, doesn't mean that anything terrible is going on. I guess it's kind of an expected phenomenon with COVID for a lot of people. So it's nothing unusual, but it does suck that I've essentially been sick for a couple of weeks. But I'm doing alright. Just, COVID's no fun. If anybody tries to offer you COVID, just say no thanks. Would not recommend getting it, because it does suck. And this shit is not over. Probably won't be anytime soon, if ever, because people don't know how to act right. But hopefully you do. Hopefully you're staying safe, and if you've gotten sick in the past few years, hopefully you came out of it the other end okay. Keep washing your hands, keep socialing your distance, keep wearing masks. All the things that you should be doing to take care of yourself and others, just keep up with it, because we got to. So, that's been a thing that I've been dealing with, like I said, for a couple weeks now. It's really been putting me out of commission for doing much of anything. I've had some plans that I need to keep pushing back. Here's your first warning for some flashing lights. So just be aware of that. There's a time code there to skip to. So anyway, before being sick, I had to do a lot of moving stuff around and cleaning some stuff in this room. Got some new furniture. And that took me out of being able to do a lot of computer stuff for a good couple of weeks there as well, because I just was not in a position where I could be at the computer doing stuff while I was doing all this other work. But now the room is in a situation where I'm once again able to sit at the computer comfortably and do stuff. I just need to actually start feeling better. But yeah, we are now in the middle of October, and you might have come to expect that I do Halloween stuff. I've enjoyed doing it. It's been an excuse to kind of go out of my comfort zone with doing something like a theme every year, of playing something spooky or spoopy or something like that. You know, just a fun little event, and I've really enjoyed doing it every year. But because of how things have been going, I don't have anything for you this year, necessarily. There will be some things coming up that you could say are appropriate for the season, but no big thing, no Dark Pictures game, no Quarry, no anything, like no big Halloween game. At least not yet. In my opinion, you know, Halloween doesn't have to be October. You can have a spooky month any month. So we will see what happens in the future once I am, you know, better and I can spend some time getting all my stuff together. And I think a big thing for why stuff, like, I could just start playing a game and do like a quick let's play of a horror game for Halloween. But I like doing those intros. I really like doing those part zeros where I do like some research, some backstory either on the game itself, the developers, or something that the game is connected to, like with the past two Dark Pictures games, where I talked about the ghost ship, and I talked about the history of witch trials and stuff like that. I really like doing those things. It's fun for me to do the research and the writing, and not as much fun to edit it all together. It's a lot of work, but I am proud of the things that I put out there. And I don't necessarily want to do away with that just for the sake of being able to put out Let's Plays at a faster rate. Because, like I said, I enjoy doing those things, and they also set me apart from a lot of other channels, a lot of other videos out there, where you could go and watch somebody do just a playthrough of House of Ashes, but you're not going to get an intro video that puts more context or things like that, puts in the work to better understanding what the game is drawing its inspirations from. So that's my thing. And I really like that being my thing. It's just a lot of work. And it means that things are slow to be put out. And, you know, maybe one day in the future I will see enough support and stability for doing these things that maybe they could go more quickly, where I would be able to work with more people to get help in producing these things faster and maybe even better. But that's not where I'm at now, unfortunately. I have people that really enjoy my stuff, and that's great. I have people that offer their support the ways that they can, and that's great. But I've been trying to hit milestones for a long time now, and they just never seem to get hit. Like, for example, I would love to get 400 subscribers. Right now I'm at 390-something. And I've been at 390-something for a long time. And before that I was at 380-something for a long time. And I've been wanting to get to 400 for a long time, and that's a very small goal. A very small milestone in the grand scheme of things. So, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do, where things will go with this channel in the future. As it is, it's just a hobby. I really enjoy doing it as a hobby. I really enjoy putting the work in to the stuff that I do. I'm very ambitious, and I'm a perfectionist, which is a dangerous combo, but I look back at the stuff that I've done, and I feel very good about it. For the most part. And I just kind of wish that with as much as I invest into this stuff, and it's not anybody's fault but my own, but the amount of work that I put into this stuff, I just wish that I had a larger audience. And I wish I had more support to continue to do these things and improve on them, do them faster, do them better, work with more people. I would love to do like collaborations with some, not like big YouTubers or big streamers or things like that, but just, you know, people that are bigger than me. And I just would love to be on their level where I could be like, hey, you know, I think it'd be really fun to do something together. And they would be like, yeah, sure. As opposed to saying, who are you? How did you get in my house? Things like that. So, maybe it's me being sick that's making me feel a little bit more emotional and sad about things, but you know the drill. The like, the comment, the subscribing, the Patreon, the PayPal, the tell your friends about me, word of mouth, things like that. I mean, it does make a big difference. I've had people mention me in videos that they do or on streams that they do, and I see people finding me and joining my channel and stuff like that as a result. And it might be, you know, 1 or 2 people, maybe 3 or 4 people. And that's more than I had. That's a bigger audience than I had. And if I could just get a couple people every now and then with some frequency, I would be killing it. Anyway, another thing that I want to bring up before we get too far into this, I say as we're already like halfway through. A little while back, I had some problems with my PlayStation 4, where it was crapping out on me, and I was in the middle of doing my playthroughs and stuff, and I was kind of desperate to get back into a functional situation in order to keep doing my stuff. So, the long story short is it wasn't turning on. And I took it to a place to get looked at and repaired, and they said, sounds like the power supply, it'll probably cost you this much. So I asked for some help for that because it was a bigger sum of money than I was able to commit to at that time. And I did get one person who gave me some money. I don't want to call him out by name because that wasn't discussed or anything, but it was one person, so you know who you are. And thank you very much for sending that money my way when I needed it. Where things went from there is a couple days went by, I went back to the shop and they said, it seems like it was the power cord, because we didn't have any problems. We changed out the power cord, and everything was fine. So they charged me for a new power cord, which was like $15-20. It's a lot. Not a great amount to spend on a power cord. Even worse when it wasn't the power cord, because my system kept crapping out. So it was the power supply. So with the money that was donated to me, I bought a new power supply. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to put that into use because the disk drive crapped out shortly after. I think it might have been the result of the power supply, like shorting something out with the disk drive, but every few seconds the drive would attempt to eject a disk, whether there was one in there or not. So it just became unusable. I eventually was able to get a replacement PS4. And full disclosure, I do also now have a PlayStation 5, and you might ask yourself, why would I get a PS4 if I have a PS5? And the answer to that is just to make sure I'm able to do the things that I want when it comes to my playthroughs. And at the time, getting the replacement PS4 was so I could continue doing the stuff that I was already doing, instead of having to try to figure out transferring everything over to a new, like, to the PlayStation 5 and stuff like that. But I'm not in a position to use the PlayStation 5 for recording. Maybe I am now after rearranging everything, but at the time it was not an option to just switch everything over to the PS5. I felt more comfortable getting a replacement PS4. So that's what's been going on with that. That's where the money went. I bought the replacement power supply, which I didn't even get to use. But yeah, I do appreciate the help, and I hope that when you give me money for something like that, I am using it in a way that's expected, where I did try to put it towards resolving the issue that I discussed. And I mean, you could say that I paid for the power cable and paid for part of the power supply with that money. Things like that. Or you could say that it went towards the replacement system. But the thing is, if I asked for money to resolve the PlayStation 4 situation, and that money did go towards resolving the PlayStation 4 situation. And when I specifically say something like, oh, I need money for this thing, I need help for this thing, something I hate to do in the first place, but if I do that, I feel like it's important for me to really lay everything out transparently so that you know and trust that I'm not trying to cheat anybody or anything like that, scam anybody out of money when I'm asking for help. So, yeah, just wanted to put that out there. We've got another egregious example of flashing lights here. There's another time code to skip to avoid it. So, yeah, I'm sorry, I hear it in my own voice how awful I'm sounding. Hopefully it's not forever. But, yeah. So, been sick, was doing lots of other stuff, didn't have time to really get in a Halloween-themed thing this year. We will have some stuff coming up that is appropriate for Halloween, hopefully in the very near future. And that's the next big thing that I'm going to be doing, which is a celebration of FMV games. So there will be some games in there that are very appropriate for the season. For example, the first video is going to be Night Trap. And if you know, you know. And what I'm doing with the FMV games is I've kidnapped a handful of my friends. You might already be familiar with Michael from the We Were Here series that we did together, which might be doing one more ride of that. Another We Were Here small game came out in that series, and might be doing that once I feel better. But yeah, you might know Michael from that, and you might also know Mateo360 from Trine, where he joined us for that 3-player co-op physics platformer fun time. I did a couple of streams with them and had a lot of fun with that game. We've got 4 more games in that series if we want to keep continuing that. And I put up stream highlights as opposed to putting up the full VODs for those streams. And I would be curious to know what you think of doing that moving forward for streams, where instead of putting up a full, like, 2-hour, 3-hour VOD, I edit it down to more like a more focused thing. But yeah, so they've shown up in videos before, Mateo and Michael, aka Polar Mike. And we will also have Callie, aka California Dream. So it's going to be the three of them basically being held hostage while I play FMV games. And we've done a couple of things before I got sick, before I had to do all of the reworking of the room. And it was fun. For me, at least. And fun for them as well. I think it'll be fun for you to see me unleash these horrors upon them. And they're willing to come back for more once we're all able to get together again. So if it seems like they're miserable, just know they protest too much, because nobody's holding a gun to their head. I'm just holding a knife to their puppies. You know, totally different thing. So that should be coming up very, very soon, and I hope you look forward to that. Before that, though, I was planning on doing something completely different. I was actually looking into point-and-click adventure games, and I was looking to narrow it down to one game in particular that I felt would work really good for my channel, work really good for a video format. I think I did find a game, and it's a very weird game, and if you know me, you know that I like my weird games, so that will be happening, hopefully in the future. I don't want to say a name or anything, just in case it doesn't work out, but just know it has to do with Eastern Europe and mutants. But the plan was I was going to do a point-and-click adventure game, and since I consider myself somebody that is good at games, and somebody who's somewhat of a smart person, that I would challenge myself to get through the game without utilizing a lot of outside help, whether it be like a hint system or a walkthrough or things like that. And the idea would be that I'd give myself like a certain number of strikes. And if I cross that threshold of being stumped, then I would be put on the line to play like a punishment game. Which I figured it would make sense for it to be another point-and-click adventure game. Just one that would be painful for one reason or another. I just thought it would be fun, where the thing is, I'm challenging myself to try to do something a certain way, and failure just means more playing of games, as opposed to doing something like really, like, you know, more... I can't even think of the right word, but for example, like the Bean Boozled, the gross jelly beans, that came up as an idea where every time I need to get a hint, I would eat one of those jelly beans. And I was like, you know what, that's not really fun, especially since I don't do video of myself or anything. So I thought that the idea of kind of being put on the line for a bad point-and-click adventure game would be more fitting and more fun. Because even if it's like a really bad game, I would still enjoy doing it. I just don't know what that game would be. So if you have suggestions for really bad point-and-click adventure games, go ahead and let me know. I had an idea, like I had a couple ideas, but I was ultimately told that I should play those anyway, because they are worth experiencing. Limbo of the Lost, Mystery of the Druids, things like that, which I thought would be, you know, good punishment games, but people were like, no, you should definitely play those anyway. So, yeah. We'll see what happens with that, but that was the original plan, and that got put on hold, and there's a lot of crossover with FMV games and point-and-click adventure games. So that's how I kind of ended up on that train of thought of doing like FMV games, and that's what we're going to be doing in the future. The point and click thing will hopefully be coming back into being fully realized, so maybe look forward to that. And Halloween. Like I said, Halloween can be any month. Spooky time can be any month. And we'll see what the future holds with that. I've definitely been enjoying going through like the Dark Pictures games, the Supermassive type of games. There's a number of other horror type games that I would really love to look at, and limiting myself to Halloween time for all of that starting to make not as much sense. So that's probably gonna be coming in the next year, a couple of those. Especially, I gotta catch up on those Dark Pictures games, and I gotta do the Quarry. And I say got to, not like I'm obligated, but I really want to. They're sitting there waiting for me to play them. I want to play them, that's what I mean by saying, like, I got to do them. So yeah, it's just Halloween can be any time, and I've been leaning more into playing certain types of games where it just doesn't make sense to hold off for 1 month of a year to do them. So look forward to that. Hopefully you look forward to the FMV thing where I'm working, hanging out with some friends and having some fun, and we've got our final warning here for flashing lights, so be aware of that. I'm still, I put in a lot of work for the part 0 of the FMV game thing, but by doing a bunch of different games, then I'm not doing, part 0s for every game. And so that's a little bit more lenient and a little bit more casual in how I'm approaching the playing of the games and stuff. And just a bit more variety, a bit more fun. Just getting some more content out there, hopefully soon, once I'm able to not sound so terrible and not feel so terrible. So yeah. And I'm not sure what else to really talk about. I mean, you've seen the playthroughs, hopefully, that have come out since my last channel update. Finally did Gregory Horror Show after a long time. That felt good. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. Little Hope, second game in the Dark Pictures anthology. I had thoughts about that. Wasn't my favorite game. I had some technical issues that also created lots of problems for me, beyond the PS4 issues itself. But it was an experience, one that was hopefully enjoyable. Outer Wilds, that was a whole thing. I was really hung up on my expectations and what I thought things would be or how things should be. And that's quite a game. If you know, you know. It's very much not what I was expecting. And I mean that in a great way. A very positive way. But it took me a while to really get there and really be comfortable with what kind of game it was and what the playthrough was going to be. And I just needed to get past those hang-ups. And once I did, I was really, really happy with it. I did a silly video where I tried to complete a challenge based off of a throwaway line in a Carrot Top movie, which was a lot of fun. I like doing just strange videos. I'm a strange person. I like strange games and doing strange things. So, hopefully you enjoyed that. There might be things like that in the future, just these random thoughts that come into my head that I want to do something with. There's plans for more Game Changer in the future, still. I know that's been a long time since that one episode, but I'm always thinking about it. I'm always planning for the future for those things. It's just, it takes time. And it takes a lot of effort. And I'm just one person. And I'm an ambitious person. And sometimes the things that I want to do, they're just for me to do them all myself. It's a lot. So anyway, we've beat the game, and we also did the 2 special stages that get us a couple of crystal balls, which get us a couple extra scenes here at the end. Nothing too big or important. But yeah, this was a good, fun game. A bit more challenging than some of the previous channel update games. You saw I came very close to dying, and this it's not very generous with its continues and whatnot. But we did it. Made it. And it's a good, fun game. If you're looking for something that's lighthearted for Halloween, I would recommend giving this a shot and seeing how you fare with it. And we will be getting into those credits real soon there. Thank you very much for listening to my very congested voice ramble for a half hour about this and that. Hopefully you've enjoyed where my channel has been and where my channel will be going. You know, you enjoy the videos that I've put out, the videos that I will be putting out, and just trying to do more stuff with friends and just trying to have a little bit more fun with things and not get so hung up on this and that. And yeah, very near future, I will start putting up some of those videos that we've done. I'll put up the part 0 for the FMV games, and I'll put up Night Trap. And we did one other video that will come out soon enough as well. But I do want to make sure that we can record more, so I don't just put out like 2 videos and then I have nothing else to put out for another month, you know what I mean? But just, yeah, things are coming. I'm sick. I hopefully will not be sick for too much longer. And I love ya. Thank you for watching these channel updates, for watching the things that I do, whether it be conventional or unconventional. Just, I hope that I'm providing a ride that you're enjoying, all its twists and turns. Give you, I would kiss you, but I'm sick, so I don't want to get you sick. I'll see you real soon. I love you. Bye-bye.